Japan is an incredibly interesting country, yet it's actually dying. Stick around until the end of this video and I'll explain why the Japanese are going through a state of decline currently and what this is going to mean as a whole for all of East Asia. Of course, going back to what I just said at the start, Japan is an incredibly interesting country. One of the largest economies in the world, the third largest, as a matter of fact, only behind the United States and China, and having a population right now of around 130 million, it is one of the largest countries out there, and an incredibly impressive one at that. Not only do they have great technology and great population to speak of, they have things like high-speed rail connecting most of their major cities, and all in all, incredible infrastructure all around. It's an incredible country, but sadly, they're going through a decline that they can't really control, and one that has nothing to do with economics or their military or even their domestic sector at all. It has to do with their population. You see, an odd thing that happens in Japan as time goes by is that less and less children are being born each generation. We can see right here Japan's age pyramid, and this is an incredibly odd-shaped age pyramid. Usually, like the name suggests, you want this graph to be pyramid-shaped, and what we're looking at is everyone in Japan and the percentage of the population that they account for, all the way from the ages of 0 to 4 and all the way up to over 100. And so this graph represents exactly what percentages are who and what they what they make up of the Japanese population. And we can see that the population in between the ages of 10 to 14 and lower only account for about like 10% of the population, which is incredibly small. And you can even see that on another graph, to show the United States, for example, our age pyramid graph is a little bit differently shaped. You can see the occasional, I guess you could say, boom here and there. Like, for example, these would be millennials. These right here would actually be somewhere around Gen X or the baby boomers, either one. There's actually a massive disparity in terms of the time in between those generations, but you still get the picture. And you can see that some of the generations did have some booms, but beyond that, there's actually a sizable amount of the population under the ages of 10 to 14. Around, if we look at this, around 15%, which is actually a lot higher than Japan, and you can also see that the predicted population of the United States from 2020 is expected to continue to climb all the way up to 2100 to the population of 433 million people. Japan, on the other hand, is expected to go into a decline and drop all the way down to just 74 million people. And of course, it's due to a lot of reasons, but one of the main reasons is that there has been a couple of social changes in Japan that have led to people having less kids. Starting off with the first one, the Japanese are incredibly heavy work-centric, to try and come up with the best way to explain it. Work takes precedence over everything. It takes place over family. It takes place over literally anything you can think of in Japan. Work is the priority. And so people spend so much time trying to succeed at work and in their careers that they never take the time to really to find a spouse or to have a family. And so there's no new children being born for that reason. That's actually one of the largest reasons that's affecting Japan right now. The other large reason is that due to how Japanese culture has been moving and the trend it's heading in, it's leading to Japanese children growing up. They're not really socialized much with each other. And while school is about as good as one gets, they don't really get socialized all too well. And so they don't really know how to, I guess you could say, interact with each other, how to eventually get married, how to have kids. All that kind of stuff largely just fades away and they don't know it. And as the population pyramid here continues to get more and more skewed and less children are being born, and the more and more old people are in Japan, the more and more this socialization, sorry, I just butchered that there, it's getting worse. In fact, it's getting so bad that in Japan, and this is also for multiple reasons, but this is one of them, the anti-socialization is leading to these massive vending machine setups in the middle of town. No longer do you have to deal with even a shop clerk. You just buy something out of a vending machine and you don't even have to interact with people ever in your daily life. You can get everything you need to survive out of the vending machines, not talking to anyone, and go live in your apartment until the day you die. And you don't have to do anything about that. The other reason that the vending machines exist is because, and like I said, as more and more old people are around, it becomes worse and worse. Old people don't fill in normal jobs like your 7-Eleven cashier or anything like that. So as they get older and older, more of these vending machines are popping up, more anti-socialization is occurring, and because of that, there's really no chance for anyone to meet up with each other, to get married, to have kids, and so on. And so then it just becomes worse. It keeps on getting worse with each passing generation. This is actually one of the most pressing issues currently to the Japanese government. And if y'all remember, the former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, who was unfortunately just assassinated a couple of months ago, he actually pioneered the idea of encouraging people to get married and have kids in his country. And not only that, he actually started government initiatives and programs to incentivize people to have kids and even pay them to have kids. Manpower is the ultimate denominator as to what a country is really worth. And that's why governments work so hard and the best they can, at least according to their current knowledge, on how to either grow their population or preserve it. Losing population is losing potential. It's losing the ability to grow economically, and it's losing the ability to have people who can fill new jobs in their economy and their workforce. And so this constant loss that we're seeing, the predicted loss of citizens in Japan due to just dying of old age, it's going to start affecting the Japanese massively in the future economically, unless they can find some way to reverse this. And they are trying their hardest to do this, but I don't really see much of a change going to happen anytime soon. And we keep on seeing that it's even getting worse, and we can actually see that the Japanese companies are trying to fix an exclusively Japanese problem. Some of y'all, if y'all have ever looked in the technological sector, may have seen the Honda's Asimo robot, which is a small little, pretty much maid or a servant that can help you out with tasks. The reason why this thing wasn't made for any kind of exorbitant luxury or anything similar. This is made primarily to fix that Japanese problem of people getting so old, and there's so few younger people that there's no one really to take care of the old people. And so these robots are practically becoming a necessity for Japan to eventually try and create, because without these, they're looking at their workforce just disappearing, and this is all that will be left is just a whole bunch of robots. They've even gone as far as making these automated mowing machines. There's actually a lot of these in Japan now, because once again, no young people to operate the lawnmowers, so now they have to have automated lawnmowers that do the entire job on their own without any human, I guess you could say, intervention or interference, because there's no one to do the job. And this is starting to permeate across all of Japan. It's really, honestly, very sad to see that a country is going into a decline it really can't control. It's trying its best to fix the situation and control it, but unlike others, Japan's getting a little bit of a rough time and a rough situation here. Of course, there's a whole bunch of social matters that kind of move in the direction of leading to this population decline and the cause of less births, but a lot of those are under the surface that you can't really say quantitatively or qualitatively even, but they are out there and you can't see them. And they're trying everything they can to fix that problem, but we don't know if they ever will. We don't know if in the future, in 2100, we will see that the Japanese population drops down to around 74 million, 75 million, really. And if they do, we may see that the Japanese actually start to fall behind compared to most countries around the world, and they just end up being another one like any other. So with that, I thank you all so much once again for watching this video. If y'all enjoyed this explanation of the decline of the Japanese population and therefore maybe the country in the future, please make sure to subscribe, because we're making videos like this as much as we can. We also cover the war in Ukraine and many other things. And if you do enjoy these videos and you want these videos to continue, make sure to support us on Patreon, because our Patreon supporters help me to focus on these projects individually, because y'all give me the ability to. And so with that, thank you all so much once again for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Good luck, take care, and I'll see y'all.